no more than 5 acres. The site has been previously developed and has no habitat for endangered or rare species. There's no wetlands on site. It's not a CTS habitat area. And there won't be significant traffic or noise, air quality, or water quality impacts. And the site can be adequately served by all city utilities, including police and fire. Next slide, please. And the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator approve a minor use permit to allow the operation of a private meeting facility at 2055 Gurnville Road. And it's important to note that the residential units are permitted by right. It's just the private meeting facility that needs the use permit, but they're all connected since it's above the meeting facility. Next slide, please. And this is my contact information for anyone here or online that would like to contact me about this project. Crescent Tunian, Senior Planner, thank you.
And thank you very much for explaining the design review, because usually we see them come through as one project, and that makes a lot of sense. So I want to ask if the applicant's here, assuming that's the group, and if you have anything to add or if a presentation.
My name is Alan Cohen. I'm an architect for the applicant and owner, Dan Bauman. And we don't really have anything to add. That was a very good presentation, well explained. We're certainly available for any questions.
Great. I'm going to have one for you. I did do a site visit and I reviewed the findings. They were very, very well done. Thank you. And during my site visit, I saw that there were a whole lot of really nice trees along that western property line. And I would like to condition the project. I'd like to add a condition. But you know what? Before, I forgot to open up public comments. So before I go into my spiel, I'd like to see if anybody out there wants to make a comment.
If you wish to make a public comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. The raise your hand icon is located at the bottom of the Zoom screen. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute once called upon. Zoning administrator, it appears there's no hands raised at this time.
And is there anybody in the room that's here to make a comment, a member of the public on the project? No. Now I'll go into my spiel. So I'd like to add a condition of approval that just kind of guides you to preserve the trees on the western property line as part of your project design.
I concur with that.
Yay.
There's a really nice palm tree that is pretty majestic. The site plan, we made provisions for that to keep the building off and have that serve as the buffer. So I have no problems at all including that into a restriction.
I know it's very unusual that we actually condition to save a palm, but I agree. It's a very beautiful.
No, I have no intention of taking that.
And there's also some oaks that I think that should. It's all along that western property line.
We may even add some palms. So.
Or some oaks.
I have no problem with that.
Anyways, so long as it complies with the water efficient land ordinance. So. Anyway, so with that, if I could just go ahead and add that, and the project shall be designed to preserve heritage trees along the west property line. The palm tree, I hope it's preserved as well, but I won't condition the project for that. And I do hope you consider in your site design access to the back 40, where nothing's planned yet, but you might plan something in the future.
We will.
Okay, thank you. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and approve the project. Thank you for being so thorough. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Next.
How was the baby?
The next item is 5.2. This is another public meeting. This is for Abby's Pawn and Coin. shop. It's requires a conditional use permit and has been found to be exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. The project site is located at 618 Santa Rosa Avenue, and the project file is CUP 22-056. The project planner is Nor Biesla. And Nor, if you'd like to go ahead and give us your presentation.
Good morning, everyone. This is a request for a minor conditional use permit at 618 Santa Rosa Avenue for Abby's Pawn and Coin. Next slide, please. The proposed shop is a luxury pawn shop, and the land use designation that it falls under is a secondhand store. They would be buying, selling, and offering loans for personal goods. The hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5:30, and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4, and they would be closed on Sundays. Next slide, please. This is where the project is located, at the corner of Santa Rosa Avenue and Oak Street. Next slide, please. And here is the aerial view of the site. Next slide. The general plan land use designation is core mixed use, and the zoning is core mixed use, and it's also in the downtown station area combining district as well as a historic combining district. Next slide, please. Here you can see the building where it is located. It's currently was a glass shop, and you can see the floor plan as well. They did not show the proposed, like the minor tenant improvements, but in the building permit application they did. Next slide, please. Staff is able to make all the required findings for a minor conditional use permit. It meets the zoning code description of a secondhand store, which is allowed in the zoning code with a minor conditional use permit. The general plan does not mention secondhand stores, but it describes the core mixed land use designation as intended to foster a vital mix of residential, retail, office, governmental, entertainment, cultural, educational, and hotel uses to activate the greater Courthouse Square area and key transit corridors. And this shop would be adding diversity to the retail uses in the area. There is no parking requirement in the downtown station area. However, the applicant has confirmed that there is parking available in the adjacent lot as well as street parking for employees and guests to use. And staff has also conditioned the project to provide adequate bicycle parking. Next slide, please. This project is categorically exempt with a class one exemption, as it is a existing structure involving a negligible expansion of an existing use. As I mentioned, it was a glass shop, and now it will still be a retail use of the same intensity. There are no unresolved issues as a result of staff review. There was public comment received. I'm not sure if this is the updated version. That's okay. There was a comment I received via email in support of the project and bringing such uses to the area. I did receive a voicemail from somebody who was not in support of the project and such uses in the gateway to the downtown area. Next slide, please. Therefore, it is recommended by the Planning and Economic Development Department that the zoning administrator approve a minor conditional use permit to allow the operation of a secondhand store as a pawn shop at 618 Santa Rosa Avenue. Next slide, please. For any questions or comments, this is my contact information, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. And is the applicant here?
Yes.
And would the applicant like to make any presentation or comments?
No, thank you, Nor, for your presentation. We don't have any additional comments.
Okay, great. And I will disclose that I walked over with your contractor, so we did chat a little bit, but I didn't learn anything new about the project. Can we see if there are any public comments from outside the room?
If you wish to make a public comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. The raise your hand icon is located at the bottom of the Zoom screen. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute once called upon. Zoning administrator, appears there's no hands raised at this time.
Thank you very much. So I visited the site and I understand the comments that we received. I don't necessarily agree with them. I think that this is actually a fantastic place for the project. I reviewed the findings that were made on the resolution and I think they were very solid and I think the presentation was very good in delivering those findings. Thank you. I know that a lot of people want us to activate that area of the street. I don't think a pawn shop goes against that. I think that that's a perfectly appropriate use there. So with that, I don't have any conditions of approval to add. I had no problem parking in an area where there is no minimum parking when I went and did my site visit, and I will be approving the project. So thank you for moving down to that area of the city, and thank you for a very good presentation. And with that, I am going to adjourn the meeting at 10:49 on March 16th. Everybody have a safe St. Patrick's Day tomorrow.